Target, it's tits.
It's tits. This department, it's the tits.
Yeah.
And the bee's knees.
The bee's knees.
Like, where did that come from? Bee's knees.
Same place as horse feathers?
And the witch's tit, and the gnat's ass.
I still think the worst one is cat's ass.
I have not heard that one.
Which one?
That's just cat's ass.
Cat's ass? It says an asterisk.
It is cat asterisk. That's very true.
Cat's ass.
Cat's ass?
Okay. That's on tape. Okay, so let's set the volume to half the volume, and this goes into the maxi.
This is on Omni. The gain is just over half.
On the channel, what is Omni?
We've already got a watcher.
Us.
Who watches
So,
the
yeah.
Watchmen?
Who watches the Watcher?
Whatever takes.
Yeah.
Watch it. Watch it. I don't remember locking
Okay, we're good.
rotation, but apparently I did.
Rotation. Okay, now let us do this.
So one of your neighbors has a network called the Blonde Ultimatum.
Yeah.
All right.
All they do is complain about the Dunwich guy.
It's not a typical apartment complex. Nobody here's got one called NSA Surveillance Van or anything.
Actually, yeah, I've always wanted to make a network and like name it something, like that. Like,
You should just name part of your network something like that it has the world's most obscure password that, just random mashes of the keyboard, right?
just gonna name it like malware server.
Yeah.
I think it should just be, yes, I am listening.
I am the listener.
Or a Wi-Fi SSID called Packet Sniffer.
Package sniffer. Package sniffer.
Packet Sniffer.
I like that better.
Packet sniffer.
I really wish I would have gotten a license plate picture of that Mini that had the Burninator license plate. I think that was pretty awesome.
Burninator. See, yeah, now I gotta come up with another license plate.
Oh no.
Somebody at work has whatever this one is, a Crosstrack. I think it's maybe it's a Forester actually, that has the license plate WRX. I'm thinking that perhaps they had a family and needed to get a Forester, but they kept the WRX license plate.
Just in case they ever get another one.
I don't know.
Well, I could do that. Just find a really high-end car and get a license plate of that car.
Yeah. You could just have your license plate be RAV4.
No, I'm thinking like
Oh, like
yeah,
Bentley.
like Bugatti or something like that.
The thing is do you intentionally, egregiously misspell it? Right? Can you shorten Lamborghini to something short to put on the Toyota?
Maybe.
How about BBYLXUS?
BBY.
Baby Lexus.
I don't like Lexus.
See,
In my vast experience with luxury cars,
I think that if I had a Lexus, I would have to have a license plate that said Luthor.
it said what?
Luthor.
Lexus.
Yeah, that would make
I
sense.
told my wife that she should change hers to only one ONLYONE because it's a Highlander.
That is good, actually.
That would be good.
Yeah.
She didn't think
This is
so.
going to be really embarrassing if we have nobody join us tonight.
Oh yeah, no one's coming.
It's a podcast. Can't expect anyone to be
Actually,
here anyway.
what
Yeah.
might be kind of fun is that when... who do we get coming?
That's the wolf.
Because I think that now that we've... Now that we've already done three of the submissions, I'm glad somebody's finally joined. We've only got one left.
And look who's here. Strudel is here.
Hello.
Oh, that's good.
Are we video streaming or just audio or not or anything?
We're just, what you see there is what they're seeing. So they're not, the camera's not on yet, but they're getting all of our audios.
I can't read any of it. I need binoculars. No, it's fine.
There's the winder.
All the cool kids are here. The Winder.
Expert
What's up, Winder?
black belt in window.
I sort of feel like we only need to put the chat on the screen, like for all of us who are sitting here with glasses on.
Here, I did
Which
increase
is all of us.
I know.
the sizes.
What? Hang on. I think somebody wrote a text or something.
Mr. Barnhart is here.
Hello.
Just got back from work. Hey, fellas. Raising a glass to you. To you as well, Barnhart. Raising cans. We are tipping our cans to you.
We are tipping our cans to you.
Let me show you.
Very tipped cans.
Yes. Welcome, sir.
Well, I forgot that when I come to your place that I can check out my haircut.
Yeah, looks good.
It's
Ah,
short.
you and Stu
Check your haircut once
the
every
same.
2 or 3 weeks.
got the same cut going.
Well, I didn't. It looks like I've got a bald cap, like on right here.
Kind of does.
I look more and more like Daddy Warbucks every day.
Friar Kelly.
Yes. Well.
It's hard to do a tonsure without anything to work with, though.
Everyone drink! That's what we're doing.
Can I use the Drager Lager?
Yeah.
No.
Yes, he can. Silly.
So how are you gonna cut that bottle? At least it's round enough.
The wind is wondering where the wax is.
That's none of your business yet.
It has waned. Don't worry, we'll be spreading it later. Stu and I are going to be applying the wax. Ooh. Gonna keep it slightly cool.
Yeah. Welcome, everybody. We'll be getting started in, I don't know,
A little bit.
some time after this point. I thought it said Kelly.
Kala.
That's why he picked it. It's named after an eagle.
Well, that's unfortunate.
What a doge. Yeah.
Here's the wax.
Light it up. Let's heat that up.
Actually, that might make you feel better, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Let me get the lighter.
God's sake.
We'll have
That's
a little. How you lay in it, anyways. Spin around that way, and you can put your feet up. It's good for
Are
the
you gonna
circulation.
massage my feet?
Hell no. But
Hell no.
We're gonna let some of that wax get a little hot.
beer,
and we're
man?
gonna dribble it.
hey, Matt, you want the beer? You gonna drink the
I'm gonna get it. Did you? I was turning it and the can fell in, and so then it foamed.
You're not good at this
Leave me
drinking
alone.
thing,
No.
are you?
No. Here, let me have one of these.
You got a drinking problem.
I have a drinking problem.
Let's dial up the romance.
Bromance.
Time for the Couch Warrior Seance.
Sweet mother, sweet mother.
Do we have some sort of a squeaky board?
Move the squeegee
It's
until
so
it spells
clean.
something. Yeah.
It's so clean.
Ah, your daughter's here. Checking in.
Hi, Sydney.
Hey, Dad.
Hello.
I'm not typing back tonight, so
Yep. There's gonna be too much shenanigans tonight. He won't have time.
I have to read with vigor or whatever it is that you told everybody on.
Well, yeah, one is embellish,
Embellish.
One is reading triumphantly, waxing poetic, and then just plain waxing.
Okay, well, once the wax warms up,
That's
we'll be
the coup de
waxing
grace.
poetically. Oh, man.
All Miyagi style.
It's on.
More off. More off.
More off, more off.
I like that. Her phone's charging. Cool.
Play-by-play.
Did you get your homework done?
Sydney, Stu wants to make sure you got your homework done.
Watching YouTube is a reward for having finished your homework, young lady.
Oh, had none.
Had no
Had no
homework.
homework.
What? Wow.
Pardon me.
That's nice and toasty.
So when should we start?
I don't know.
When do you want to start?
I don't know. Yeah, I'm still working on this.
It's 6:33.
Perfect. That's a perfect time to
It is perfect
to
time.
pause and
To just about start.
to just about start.
I have, by the way, in case it gets really, really warm in here.
Oh, here it is. It's time to wax. Oh, perfect.
Stacks is hiding underneath.
Yeah.
That's my little subversion for work. I have to wear my yarn.
Yeah, you gotta protest however you can.
Even if it's
It's either that or interesting
Yeah.
socks, but it's not interesting socks today.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
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 Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's right.
We sound like Red Green more and more.
Well,
so
welcome
he's
everybody
so
to the
funny,
podcast, or to what has the potential to become a podcast. So this is the last season of Character Crusade Unbound, and I don't know, we're not sure, but it could be the last season of Character Crusade, period. I don't know, we'll have to see.
Depends on how much we want to monetize.
Yeah, that's true. So I don't know what we're going to do after this. We haven't decided when we're going to live stream again, if we're going to live stream, and what it's going to be. But you know, we're around. We'll let you know. I can think of some things I'd like to do.
You might get like
Yeah,
guerrilla notifications. We're doing a podcast in half an hour.
yeah, stuff like
We haven't
that.
let anyone know.
Yep.
The boy is sitting there. The yip yip. What?
Is that
The yip yip.
what is that
Muppets.
called when all of a sudden a group like breaks out in
A
song?
flash mob.
So maybe we just do flash podcasts.
Yeah,
Flashcast.
Flashcast.
You know what?
Like a maniac.
If you get to wear leg warmers and we get to dump buckets of water on you,
Yeah.
Oh, I'll do that.
Oh, that
You want me in a
reminds me.
leotard?
uh-oh.
You know what? I talked to one of my coworkers, and he's got a VR headset for PC.
Really?
Ooh.
That's got potential.
It's got potential.
Hopefully not with pouring any water on your head.
No, this is what we're thinking. We borrow a VR headset, and then for the marathon, we get Skyrim VR,
Oh.
and we each take turns playing VR while the other two guys
Watch.
No, they watch and do Foley with like hair dryers for wind and spritzing for rain and poking you with sharp things for fighting.
The full sort of
Yeah, it would be
4D
a
experience.
full sensory experience where the audience could follow along. They could see what the person was seeing, but then they could also see the other two people like beating on the game player or doing the Foley work.
Maces.
I think that would be brilliant.
Ow, that feels like Orcish bow.
Would you guys donate to a charity to see that kind of thing? I don't know. I would.
Oh,
Yeah.
they brought home Freddy's for dinner.
Oh, jeez.
We had burgers.
Yeah, we did.
Kruger?
Not Freddy Krueger's.
That sounds awful.
Enjoy supper,
It's got a nice
sweetheart.
charred flavor though.
Yes, it does. It does. Very cutty, sharp.
No, so I want to actually.
She meant the. Or like.
Yeah, I want to actually. I would love to get some viewer feedback on that concept.
Donate to watch you guys beat each other up. Sign me up.
Perfect. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
one. We only need 999 more.
Yeah. Well, imagine this: you get a nice view of Skyrim as Matt is running through the forest playing Skyrim, and then you get a little picture-in-picture of him with his VR headset on, surrounded by Joe and I, who are blasting him with hair dryers, spritzing him with water bottles.
With a super soaker.
Yeah.
For the really heavy dump.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yep. Beating on you with one of those fun noodles like you take in the pool.
Would it be possible to show the person in the VR for what they're seeing and then show behind them with the green screen?
Yeah.
So you'd like have full immersion.
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 Yeah. Absolutely, we could do that. I think that would be just...
Two douchebags beating on them.
And
that
then
would be a pretty fun
Then I can
thing
wear
to
my
do.
Skyrim apron thing, and then it'll look like...
Oh, that would be awesome.
That would be really awesome.
That
Yeah.
was the
don't
best,
forget
that. was
that.
the best $7 I think I ever
Oh my
spent.
god. That's,
Yeah, ice cubes when he's in Winterhold. Yeah, I mean, it's going to have to be like... We'll have to lay out a
Dry
tarp.
ice. Oh my god!
We'll have to lay out a tarp or something like that. But I think it would be amazing. We just got to make sure we don't ruin the headset. 'Cause
Well,
it
yeah.
doesn't
yeah.
belong to me.
I
But
think we
Can't we
need,
just, we'll put a plastic bag over your head while you're playing?
well, wouldn't it
But
be?
you're underwater again.
I think it would be hilarious,
We're not
if
playing Star Wars.
you got a hairdryer on hot when the fireballs come in, and then you switch the heat off when,
When you go up the throat of the world.
Yeah, it's like you could do all kinds of stuff like that. So I think what we would do is if we solidify the concept,
Shaved ice.
then what we could do is we could get ideas from the community about what would be a good way to simulate certain things.
Like dirty, wet gym socks under the nose when you're in Morthal.
Maybe.
Or Riften.
Yeah, I mean,
The
this
rat
is going
way.
to include obviously tactile things, but also smell and possibly taste. So
Oh, no!
Yeah, if you go to the tavern and eat some bread, then we could shove Wonder Bread in the face of the person who's like,
Now,
But
keep
what
in
if you
mind, though,
have
man,
roasted
this would be
pheasant?
all the things that we would all have to experience these.
yeah,
not
we would
just
take
you.
turns, not just you.
Yeah.
So you'd get to partake on the bread shoving.
Yeah, I like the fact that everyone at Stu and Joe beating up Matt in Skyrim VR.
Well, yeah, that's just how we set it up. but
That's
we
just
would-
an example.
Well,
would trade off.
the good thing, Matt, is that you're only playing for the first 12 hours of the live stream.
Yeah, exactly.
Then we're gonna switch it up to Fallout, where we're not gonna do that.
Right. Oh
Yeah.
no. Oh no, it's going to be one of us for the next 12 hours. Just kidding.
We're definitely going to need a taser, aren't we, or a cattle prod for
Probably some
electrical attacks.
Yeah, shock spells.
And
Yeah.
well, I suppose anything that's any sort of magic spell
Uh-huh.
is pretty much going to have to be delivered by taser roll.
Something like that.
Something.
Well, we could
we'll
have
figure it
blow
out.
torches, tasers, and then something for cold. We'll have to think of. But anyway,
So by the way, Sydney is wondering if there's going to be any more homework. So Sydney, the good thing is that your dad lives with you. So if you want to continue going through any of the episodes, we can do that at home too.
that is convenient.
It is convenient, but she hasn't really had much time to play a lot of
Yeah.
Skyrim, so we'll have to get back into that.
Matt is your own personal Skyrim tutor. There you
A
go.
really bad. It's like substitute teacher who's reading the assignment just the class before you're teaching it to the class, right?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
So you're welcome, sweetheart.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Giant's toe. We'll have to get something that we'll get some Limburger cheese for Giant's
Ooh.
toes.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, what's that? What's that? It's
Honestly-
either mammoth cheese or giant
Giant's
toe.
toe.
I honestly think that this could be the most horrifying and most well-viewed episode ever.
It could be. I think it could be brilliant.
Giant's toe.
Ew.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Think about
think
that.
Skyrim 4D will have to be.
That's what it would be.
Just the fact that we're going to have to come up with just a few
Skyrim
things
4D.
that can be used. Well, it's like they have at the Disney things, right?
Yeah,
Where you're
yeah.
riding and the seats move and they spray you when the dog sneezes and stuff. Yeah.
We'll just be standing by and we'll have to ask you questions like, Okay, Matt, how many meads are you going to drink?
Drink. Junk. See, they never do that in any of the inns. They never have like a 3-story funnel. I mean, they do that in Madison, Wisconsin, but they don't do it here.
A 3-story funnel. Yeah.
Do they have nail clippers in Skyrim? I'm worried about that.
Can you imagine the velocity?
I know, it'd blow your head off.
So
Just come straight out your ass.
Pretty much.
I'm not joking. They really do have it. They just fill it up with a hose up above, and then the whole thing goes.
Yeah,
Scary.
well, I've done beer bongs before that were maybe 4 or 5 feet over my head, but they were like garden hose.
Yeah.
You know, and that was harsh.
Scary.
Maybe these are smaller tubes.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, like this. Like coffee stirrer tubes.
Well, I did see a video of, I don't remember what town it was. It was in Wisconsin, where it was the world's largest beer bong. I mean, the whole town came out to erect this thing. They had the PVC pipe. There was a small water tower that held the beer.
Oh my word!
It was
really?
that big.
Jesus.
And it just had little spigots and hoses all along. It's just outrageous.
That's insane. This is in the U.S.?
In Wisconsin.
Oh, in Wisconsin.
I don't remember what town.
Well, Wisconsin's not the U.S., though. I've been there. It's not the U.S. So, but close. It's kind of right in the middle of the U.S.
Yeah, it's its own thing.
Yeah. It's actually...
It's like it's a whole nother country.
Considering what's going on in the U.S. right now, it's looking better and better all the time. Maybe I'll move to Wisconsin. You know?
Anyway, are you gonna live in Norway, Wisconsin?
I don't know. Should I?
Because then you could go to Norway every weekend.
I could be Norwegian.
What are we hearing?
You're hearing him rubbing his foot on the
okay.
thingamajigger.
Sorry.
I thought we were
Should
getting
probably not
no. Dude. I can't just say rub away, Joe. I didn't know what was going on.
I'm practicing my Foley.
He's trying to break in his FBI shoes. He looks like a spook with those shoes on.
That's
FBI
pretty good.
shoes.
I like that.
CIA shoes.
He's got an antenna in one end and a knife
You
in the
don't
other.
know. Maybe
I don't know.
Maybe I'm just that good.
He only says that he works.
Hello, Brittany. Brittany Sharp, welcome. Okay, should we get started, guys?
Yeah.
By the
we
way,
should.
Sydney is telling people how many rounds of chopping wood you need to do to buy a horse, in case you're wondering.
Wow, that's a lot.
Oh my
Chopping
gosh,
wood.
she's done the math.
Because she will do that. She's told everybody, and she's done it.
Wow, that's
She has
almost
chopped
like,
enough wood to go buy a horse.
That's a lot of wood.
That is
Yes,
a lot
it
of.
is.
It's almost
It
like
is.
skinning a mammoth.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of time chopping wood.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So, the last season of Unbound. Last episode of the last season of Unbound. That would make this the finally.
The finally. Yes.
Okay.
Fin.
Finn.
Finissimo.
That's at the end of what movie? 'Cause it's like Finn.
All good movies end with Fin.
All right.
Uh-huh.
Especially Tom Sawyer movies.
Yes. Yeah.
Sorry. We're getting out of pop culture and into old culture.
Yeah, we are.
Unpopular. Unpop culture.
Unpop culture.
How does this podcast go again?
I don't know. We're
Okay. Cold open?
sure.
All right. All right, here we go. Ready, set. Welcome, everyone, to Character Crusade Unbound Podcast, Season 4, Episode 6. I'm Stu.
And I'm Joe.
And I'm Matt.
Welcome to the finale episode of Season 4 of the Unbound Podcast. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay. That open was cold, man.
It was.
Cold.
It's a pretty chill open.
Very chill open. So,
Oh yeah.
I'm judging by the levels they can hear us okay.
I would hope
Right.
I
So,
don't know what
If
the
you
levels
can't
look
hear
like.
us well, let us know.
yeah, if you can't hear us very well, then, I don't know, whatever. So,
You know, it's kind of like sending out an email when email's broken.
Right? Let us know if your email.
If you can't hear us, let us know.
Can you hear this?
What are they saying?
Hey, are you getting my emails?
Outlook is down.
I better send it again.
Send me an email if you don't get this.
Nobody's responding to me.
Okay.
So,
What?
yeah.
Yeah.
So now what?
We need to. Okay. So I think we need to start out by just recapping what season 4 was all about, which would sort of require us to have an understanding of what we asked people to do.
Boy.
That could be rough.
Should we go back and replay episode 1 for everyone?
Tall.
Yeah,
Just
we'll
let
just
it play.
stream it.
Just hang on, let me pull it up on my phone.
Yeah, everyone, go back and watch episode 1, and we'll reconvene in like an hour and a half. No. So season 4, we decided to focus on game mechanics.
Yep.
And so Joe and I came up with a game mechanic where we asked you to pick a sacred metal. The idea was that would be your ideal metal, and that you would be in some ways basically allergic to everything else. There were penalties associated with that, but there were also substances that you could consume that would help mitigate
Correct.
the effects of these other ones. Now, this is a game mechanic. It's kind of, it's all on the honor system. There's nothing in the game, obviously, that is going to cause anything detrimental. So this is kind of a game mechanic. It's all in your head, right? And the one thing that everybody shared was sort of an allergy, if you will, to gold.
Yep.
And so the idea with that is that the item that would mitigate that was what? Snowberry?
Snowberries.
All right. So for every 50, I think it was for every 50 gold pieces that changed hands, you had to be able to consume 1 unit of snodsberries.
Snodsberry.
In order
like real snodsberry.
in order to counteract the effects of that.
Right.
All right.
And it was specific to when, as you mentioned, when you exchanged the gold. It wasn't, you could carry it as much as you want. It's when
Correct.
when it left your pocket, more or less.
Right.
You could harvest
any
all the gold that you
transaction.
wanted, but when you initiated a transaction. Yep.
You were penalized.
Correct. And so this was designed really to be kind of an overly harsh game mechanic at the beginning, or one that was sort of restrictive, because originally what Joe and I were trying to do was try to put some kind of rule set in place that would place some more severe limitations on how you used armor, how you spent money,
weapons,
what weapons you used,
what kind of loot you chose to pick up.
Yeah.
Correct. And the side effect of that, of course, is that that gets you out into the world in a manner in which you wouldn't normally go.
Right.
Right.
Basically, it helps kind of force more thought into your gameplay, your destinations, and your interactions.
Right.
And you now have a whole different perspective on pretty much everything around you.
Correct.
Because you can't just do anything you want whenever you want, because there's some effect to it every time.
Yep,
More or less.
absolutely. So that's kind of the synopsis of what Season 4 was really about from the start. So what we're going to do tonight is we've spent all the episodes up to this point kind of discussing in a roundabout way some ways that you might address this. But we really wanted to focus in this last episode on some of your character experiences. And there's a few of you who wrote into us, and we're going to read your submissions tonight. That is going to be the focus of this episode. And then after tonight, there will not be any more Unbound seasons unless at some point in the future we decide that we want to do
Spring
that.
one on them.
Right. But I think what we're planning on doing, at least for the time being, for the next few months, is to really just take this time off, think about what we want to do, spend some time planning our marathon, and think about, okay, if we were going to do some streaming and we wanted to come back and do that, what sorts of things would we want to do? So that's kind of what
It
we're all
does take
about.
several months to prep for that 24-hour live stream.
And it does take a fair amount of planning. It does. So that's probably what we're going to be focusing on. And who knows? I mean, it might be sort of fun down the line to just do a series of periodic streams, short ones, to give people updates on where we're at, or maybe to get community feedback on ideas for the marathon and stuff like that. Okay?
Like the VR beat on the guy playing
Yes.
aspect? Yes.
Yes, like Skyrim 4D.
Well, I'm thinking
like
that if people have some suggestions, right?
Yeah.
Hey, if you have just harvested a saber cat, right? What kinds of things are now going to assault your olfactory, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
burning dragon bacon, right?
And when you're fighting that saber cat, we should be scratching you with some claws or something.
I can imagine going to work on Monday. What happened? Oh, on this video. I
I
was
was
playing
playing.
VR over the weekend.
Yeah.
What? Oh man, it's so real.
We'll go to the costume shop and get like a Freddy Krueger glove that we can just, yeah. So, anyway, that's kind of what we've got planned for the future. In other words, nothing.
Sydney
Okay.
said she could come and help. I think I'm leaving now.
Yeah, you might want to. All right, so let's just jump right into submissions.
Oh, really? Right now?
I give
Right
up.
now.
Let's do that.
What?
I was jumping in.
Oh, you were?
I was
Dive
giving
in.
up.
Jump
I
in.
was submitting.
Oh, nice.
You don't need to do that with us in the room.
Maybe I like it.
All right. So
Maybe that's what he's into. Hey, everybody.
we have
Christmas gift ideas.
because this is the last one. Shall we read everything? while we
Yeah,
go through?
let's
We-
just read them all.
We have 5 submissions from folks. We have 2 from Vincent Keith, who isn't here, but that's okay. We'll go through this one. Character summary for Dylan Ashcroft was Dylan Blackhammer. I'm not sure if I like Ashcroft better than Blackhammer. Blackhammer sounds pretty sweet.
Oh, Ashcroft is pretty good.
By the way, when it keeps turning upside down, it's going to make it really hard to read.
I wish it wouldn't do that, man.
I'm going to see if I can
Can
lock
you make
the
it
rotation.
not do that?
Yeah, I can.
That's what I would do if I was reading.
Ancient surface
Yeah,
here.
me too.
I'd totally lock it
In
down.
a minute.
Totally locked, man. Okay, character summary. Brief character summary. Dylan, the second son to a wealthy family in High Rock, was uninspired by life. Tried many things and finished none of them. That sounds all too familiar.
Yeah.
In frustration, his grandmother shipped him off to be a priest of Akatosh. Lacking the discipline necessary for the job, he broke his vows. Akatosh cursed him and tossed him out on his ear. Having nearly died after touching the first metal item that came to hand, he found himself in the care of a priest of Stendar. The gods had something planned for Dylan, and after months of resisting, he finally agreed to serve Stendar. He was sent to Keeper Karset in Dawnstar, who promptly determined he was worse than useless as he was. She instructed him to travel to Whiterun for weapons training and then to the College of Winterhold. She handed him a steel mace, and Dylan froze in a panic. "Don't worry, whelp. I know your curse, and Stendar has chosen to allow you to use steel. Who knows? Serve well enough, and maybe you'll be released from the curse entirely. Tell us about it, your reactions to the challenge. I spent a lot of time thinking about which metal would be usable. My initial thought was silver, but I only needed one silver item, the weapon. I could easily hold off long enough to collect the necessary ingredients. It didn't seem like it would be difficult until I found myself looting things. I need to find a way to eliminate loot, all before it kills me." Nice. How did you integrate the game mechanic into your play? As a cursed probationary vigilant of Stendar, I added a vow of poverty with a slight twist. He can't have more than 500 septims past noon midweek, middas, right? Alchemy was a natural since he needs to hunt ingredients anyway. As a vigilant in training, he uses one-handed warhammer
All right.
as a mod.
That's cool.
What worked and what didn't? The biggest thing that didn't work was my machine. Okay, I'm rebuilding from a complete new install of everything, including Windows. Once I'm up and running, Sacred Metals will be my primary playthrough for quite a while. I've decided I need to adjust his vows to Stendar. Originally, he was only going to be allowed to use the equipment he either created himself or was given to him by the Vigilant. Then I ran into issues with smithing. I can probably make it work if I take the time, but opted to allow him to use the honed metal mod. It also gave him a place to spend coin before Midas. Surprises. I'm almost never encumbered. Very unusual for me. And there's just that much in my inventory, mostly gems and gold jewelry, essentially money. I found that I have more money for training since I can't buy much beyond food and spell tomes. I liked this idea so much, I'm going through the CK tutorials.
Creation kit.
Creation kit tutorials. So that I can create a Sacred Metals mod.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, that's awesome.
My current thought is to have scripts triggered by inventory changes and once per day. It would apply a health DOT via spell effect that will eliminate 100% health over about 6 hours of game time, and will apply a spell effect that cuts carry weight by 50% and sets stamina to 0. Better find those ingredients fast.
Wow.
One effect for each item worn, dropped, sold, smelted, or given to a follower. Although they won't attack, consuming an ingredient will remove or block 1 DOT perk per day. I don't know what DOT stands for.
Department of Transportation?
Possibly.
Dot. Maybe it's truly just dot.
Maybe it is. It's all capital
Dot
D, capital O, capital T. So,
Yeah.
Dragonborn of Thrones. I don't know.
Yeah, could be.
So, but there is a secondary update here, a small update, addendum.
It sounds like immersive allergies of Skyrim. You know,
It really is.
you know, like it would be kind of cool. Like you could set a framework right for metal, but think about it. You could literally apply that to any
just about
ingredient
anything.
or consumable in the game.
Yeah.
It would be particularly good for, you know, stuff like alchemy ingredients. It would make the risks associated with sampling those ingredients to learn their properties even more extreme.
Oh, God, yeah.
I mean, it'd be pretty neat. And if you had an MCM menu where you could just put a check mark next to those things you were allergic to,
Right.
and have multiple items,
Or even better,
that'd be
you
amazing.
just have a randomizer.
You could
You could do
both.
that too.
Yeah.
Have a
Big deal.
randomizer.
So,
Okay, lots of ideas for you, Dylan.
we got more.
That's cool.
But there's
Yeah.
more. But there's
Yeah.
more.
Well,
Let's have it.
Tell us about it. I'm not sure this is useful for what you're after, but in the story arc, but it's going to take a long time to get through. But in brief, he enters service to Akatosh, breaks his vows, gets cursed, and kicked out. Right?
Damage over time, DOT.
Damage over time. Gotcha.
Thank you, Jared. Jared in Scotland.
Excellent. Picked up by Stendar. Stendar will use him to fight with the Vigilant before turning him over to Akatosh, who will then use the much stronger person to fulfill the role of Dragonborn. Will likely be at least 30 or 40 before I get there. I know how that goes. I'm in my mid-40s now. Oh, just kidding. Planning to use a courier mod to deliver instructions between check-ins. Also, if I can get it working, we'll be doing the Vigilant voiced version. So,
Nice. That sounds cool.
I think that the immersive allergies of Skyrim would be great.
I think so too.
That's
There's some
actually
potential
really-
there, right? Like
really cool.
you could use it for all kinds of stuff. I mean, he has obviously he's chosen to view this as a curse,
Yeah.
which I think is cool.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, if you created a mod like this, you could actually just portray it as a curse selection tool.
Right, right,
You know,
right.
essentially.
How aggravated would you like your game to be? 1 to 10, right? And it can pick. Are you allergic to 1 or 2 things, or are you allergic to everything? And
Can you imagine that? I can't have meat. I can't have gluten. No dairy. Well, what are you gonna eat?
ice cubes.
Bread? You got bread? No, that's got gluten.
Oh, now Bosmer.
Oh, yeah.
Damn it!
Wow, we're gonna watch you die very quickly.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah.
The interesting would you have to find out which stone. You know, maybe there's some tie-ins to that, like which of the stones might help you, right? If you are choosing
Oh, standing stones?
any of the standing stones, are there advantages or disadvantages? Are they working?
Well, I
in
mean, you
your-
could certainly work in an angle from them, potentially.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but...
Does it get worse when you have mods like the turning, all of Skyrim into the forest of Winterhold kind of thing, right? Are you allergic to 4K tree bark kind of a thing?
I don't know. You could be. Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe your machine.
Your
is.
machine might be.
Yeah.
Your machine might be.
Yeah. I love the idea of like, a dairy gluten sensitive Bosmer vegetarian. A green packed vegetarian. What does that work? There's nothing I can eat. Wait, can I eat mushrooms? Can I eat mushrooms? Only mushrooms. Like the only thing left you could eat.
Yeah, only mushrooms. I think that would probably be it. What else would there be?
Could you do
But there's
bugs?
a whole bunch of different. But there's a bunch of different kinds of mushrooms. Right?
Yeah.
There are.
You could eat
Some are
bugs.
good, some are bad.
You can eat bugs and mushrooms. That's it.
All protein.
I love that. That's fantastic.
I would be interested to know whether or not eating insects would be included in any of the must not harm creatures.
I don't know.
Right?
This actually, to me, like, sparks the genesis of a new podcast idea. Where all we do is we get together every couple of weeks and come up with a really asinine idea for a mod and see if anyone will build it. All we do is we're just like the mod idea generator. We get all the fun part. We don't have to do the work.
See, that's like
Mod-ideas.
dad joke generator, right? It would be bad mod ideas generator. So
exactly.
And for anybody who's keeping track of the T-shirt names for today, we'll have to figure out what those are, right?
Oh yeah.
The bad mod generator might be one of them.
Yep.
So. Anyway, so that was from Vincent K. So
Awesome.
That was excellent.
shall we move on? Because the next one is from Wolf Isa.
I think we should move on.
So I'll be nice. I won't completely myrtleize the names of the characters this time.
Myrtle.
Ovani is the character name. Right?
Okay.
Not Ovan Kani. So Ovani. So I won't do that too much. I promise. I'm up. You're up there. Okay. So character summary. So Ovani's story ended up being shorter than I initially planned. It played out that Ovani finally got to Riften after getting a job to infiltrate Raven Gate from Maven. After I took a ridiculously convoluted bass-ackward route to get there to gather snowberries. And even though Maven said that
Traveling with intent.
That's what that's called.
snowberries with intent. And even though Maven said she wouldn't have anyone watching her, she had Maul, who was the one who told Maven about Raven Gate in the first place, as her eyes. Despite being widely known as Maven's muscle, he wasn't denied access to watch the fights. And though he admired Ovani's skill, he noticed during a few of her fights, particularly against Forsworn or Pyromancer opponents, that she had a tough time and didn't always come out unscathed, even when she used tactics that should have worked. Eventually, he broke in her the hideaway home Maven gave her to talk to her about it. Lost in that sentence, but that's okay, my fault. Initially, she wasn't cooperative, but he started coming regularly, and their relationship went from hostile to flirtatious to lovers. Sounds like high school. The further up in
Come regularly.
No.
not regularly.
The pattern, perhaps, but the quantity was a little limited.
Sorry, I had to go there. Sorry about that.
Initially, she wasn't cooperative, so you know where this is going. But he started coming regularly, and their relationship went so and so and so. The further up in rank in Raven Gate Ovani got, however, the more difficult her fights became, and Maul started getting worried about her. At some point, Maul hears rumors that the Dark Brotherhood was wiped out by someone, and even though it meant losing his pay, he proposed him and Ovani elope and leave Skyrim. She actually accepted, and they left without saying a word to anyone about it. They ran away to southern Cyrodiil and are planning on making their way to Hammerfell. It reminds me of the lyrics from the song. I wrote a note, said be back in a minute, bought a boat, sailed off in it. No one's going to miss me anyway. All right, So tell us about it. Initially, my reaction to the challenge was pure frustration as I couldn't figure out how to integrate it, mainly due to the location I had set for the story, not having snowberries. But after I came up with a route that allowed me to gather a buttload and made it a physical limitation, much like blindness or missing a limb by making it a genetic illness, it was easier for me to work with it rather than around it or against it. I implemented debuff effects and a few other things to give Ovani consequences if she touched anything that wasn't her metal, but it was pretty easy avoiding most of it since I gave her steel as her safe metal, and that's the most common metal next to iron. I admit I did install a harvest mod to increase my supply of ingredients as I made my way across Skyrim. Does it just grab everything as you walk by?
Yeah, you walk by it,
It's
just
like this
automatically.
radius.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that would save a huge amount of time.
Yeah, it's like you got a snowberry magnet.
Yeah.
But how fast do you get encumbered with ingredients?
Oh, I imagine you could get encumbered pretty quickly.
You could. Yeah.
Like, do you
That's
get,
where you're
do you get
going.
to set the radius for harvesting? Because
Not sure.
I don't know, but like it
you have harvested Skyrim, right?
Oh!
So much lavender.
I buried in shrooms.
Okay, so we got to the harvest mod, increased your supply of ingredients, but it worked, and for the wheat for iron, there was a farm right outside the city I could have her go to, so I spent more time running around the northern snowy areas gathering snowberries before even going to Riften. The biggest thing that came out of nowhere was how I planned Ovani's story to be about this badass former fighter criminal chick, and it turned into a romance with another criminal character that I usually want to deck. It was weird in a way, but in the end, I think it was a nice way to wrap up her story, especially considering how confined I'd made it, centering it around a single city and mod.
Nice.
Cool. That was good.
Yeah, I kind of like that. I like hearing. I'm not because I'm a sadist or anything, but I like hearing about the difficulties and how people deal with them.
Yeah, it's more.
You know.
It's more really less about the difficulties as how creatively the ideas were to work with it or around it.
Overcome those
Yeah.
things. Yeah, that's cool. And so in her example, then she was treating it like a genetic disorder, basically. So we've had a curse, we've had a genetic disorder. I was kind of curious about how things were going to go with the snowberries. I mean, snowberries in plentiful supply are really confined.
It's true.
I mean, Dawnstar, Winterhold, Windhelm,
Yeah.
and I mean that's kind of it.
It'd be like trying to find juniper berries outside of the reach.
Yeah. I mean, so you're up there getting snowberries and freezing your snowberries off, especially if you're using, any like survival mods and stuff like that. I mean, it suddenly turns into a very much of a cold weather thing. Although, I mean, honestly, what we were trying to do was get people to think around that and say, okay, I need snowberries to use money or to use gold. Maybe I can find ways to not use money, right? Like maybe that, if I want to venture south and I want to venture over into the Reach, then I've got to come up with a solution where I'm not so dependent on coin to function, right? So very interesting. I like it.
I still think that it would have been an even bigger challenge had this been like an MMO, right, where everyone is fighting to get to the only snowberry fields, right? Every time I get here, Stu's been here.
Yeah,
you know.
Well, she says she had 600 snowberries by the time she got to Riften.
Oh my word!
Well, that should keep you going for a while.
Yeah, I mean, well,
how much do snowberries weigh?
Oh, geez, I don't know.
600 of them should weigh plenty, though.
Is that like 300 carry weight, or is that like 100 carry weight?
I don't know. I don't remember. I'd have to look at
That's a lot of snowberries.
That's carrying like a big old bushel basket of snowberries, Daddy.
But basically, if you buy a horse and a meal, you've had to use up all your snowberries.
Well, let's see. When's the last time you went strawberry picking, and how many did you pick?
Never.
And how many buckets would that be? Right,
a lot.
I I've gone strawberry picking before, right? And you know, you're trying to get enough berries to make a big batch of jam or jelly or something.
Which takes
like
a
that,
lot of berries.
Which is a lot of berries, and I mean, strawberries are bigger than snowberries, I think.
I would consider a snowberry almost like maybe a blueberry size.
Like that size.
Blueberry or
That's kind of or
like a
cranberry.
cranberry, yeah.
Not like a
Yeah.
mango.
Not like a mango.
Oh, snozberry. How big is a snozberry?
Durian fruit.
About that
A
size.
lingonberry.
I don't know how
Lingonberries are
big-
pretty small.
Are they?
Yeah,
I like lingonberries.
they're really good.
Yeah.
Lingonberries.
Like dingleberries. How big are
No,
those?
they vary.
They vary,
Those are only
they vary
in
quite a
Capricorn.
bit. Depends on the environment they're growing in.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
true.
Okay.
Yes. Well, that was it. That was Wolf Isa's season 4 submission for Ovani.
Thank you, Wolf Isa, for participating, for being a good sport.
And moving on to submission number 3.
Oh, I like third submissions.
This is from Strudel.
Huh.
Ulraud.
I can't see.
I really appreciate that people have given me a pronunciation key at this point.
It helps.
Who is it that I was supposed to be? Triumphant?
No, it was going to be, you were going to read Triumphantly for the Wind.
Oh, that's coming up. Okay.
Yeah. This one, for Strudel, you were going to embellish.
Oh. Well then, this should be interesting. Ulraud.
Let me get comfy.
He is a Nord who is affected with lycanthropy. I hate being eaten by wolves. I'm just kidding. Before his arrival in Skyrim, he was a holy man in the service of the god Kine. But he was an outcast as a result of becoming a werewolf. He came to Skyrim initially in search of Froki, not Loki, and not Frodo, just in case
Or
you're wondering.
Floki.
Or Floki. Or Flocati, for that matter, if you're into Greek rugs.
Really?
Froki is an old man living in a shack high in the mountains because Froki was rumored to be someone who could help him regain the favor of Kine through a series of trials. This was not to be. So I don't know if this was just some sort of elaborate prank. Go up and see Froki.
Yeah.
That's the prank, right?
Got it.
Ulfarald completed his trials eventually. He also restored the sacred tree Gildergreen in hopes of regaining favor with Kine. However, his allergy to all metals except steel left him needing to call upon the superior powers of his werewolf side more frequently, just in order to survive. He met a fellow werewolf in Falkreath. That is a heck of a tongue twister. A fellow werewolf in Falkreath. And through him met the Daedric Prince Hircine. Seriously, this is like... Don't be loaded when you do this. Eventually, he gave up trying to fight his own nature and devoted himself to Hircine, becoming increasingly powerful as a werewolf. He met a group of fellow werewolves, so more werewolves, not just one. Lots of werewolves. In the companions and rose through their ranks, helping them defeat their enemies, the Silver Hand, and helping the prior harbinger, Kodiak. What? Hey, Sydney, we'll have to get back into that later. I'm sorry, sweetheart. We're in the midst of, reading these. Okay, sweetie, we'll do it when we get home, okay? Thank you. All right, so let's get back to werewolves.
Okay.
They're wolves.
They're wolves.
Their castle.
Their castle.
That's a deep cut.
That's what I do.
You do. Okay, proceed.
And helping the prior harbinger Kodiak defeat his own werewolf spirit in order to rest in Sovngarde. Ulrald himself, however, had by this time become fully devoted to Hircine. Only Aela, I almost got it right. Aela of the companion shared his desire to remain a werewolf, a fact that had him increasingly uncomfortable with the idea of leading them. When last seen, he was on his way to Solstheim to search out the rare ingredient that would allow him to get rid of a sword he had inadvertently picked up. Tell me about that. What sword do you have to... ingredient to get rid of a sword you inadvertently picked up?
Don't know.
Oh, is it going to get... Anyway, we'll come back. He also heard rumors that more werewolves on Solstheim was hoping to meet them. So, I just didn't know if there were any swords that you needed to trade something with, or if that was just part of the game mechanic of ours, like you have to go get more snowberries to get more money.
Oh, I see.
Initially, the biggest challenge in the sacred metals scenario was remembering to check carefully before picking up loot, either from defeated enemies or chests. Early on, Ulrald picked up a sword made of quicksilver that he has yet been able to drop. Finding snowberries to combat the effects of gold turned out to be much easier than expected. Who knew there were so very many snowberry bushes in Skyrim? Did somebody turn on a snowberry mod?
Wolfisa knew.
Wolfisa knew.
Had to go find tern feathers, is what we're seeing here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, and Sydney, it's okay. You didn't interrupt us. Okay? Don't worry about that.
Yep.
I mean, this is Podcastus Interruptus from the very beginning.
That seems to be a problem that we have.
Yes.
Uh,
That's the Latin.
yes.
Did you know that?
Yes, it is. The podcast is interruptus. Choosing steel as his sacred metal was useful at low levels in that he could use decent weapons right away. That quickly turned to a disadvantage, though, between being a light armor specialist and having steel as his sacred metal. He quickly ran out of ways to upgrade his gear and was forced into using his werewolf teeth and claws to win battles.
Huh.
The biggest surprise was how well the challenge meshed with my first experience using the Winter Sun Religions mod. The increasing bonuses Ulrald got through meditating to Hircine mostly offset the disadvantages he had because of the metals allergy, but it also more or less trapped him in the path of fully embracing his werewolf side. Without that, he was unable to defeat his enemies. It was the perfect game mechanic reflection of his inner turmoil as a holy man whose circumstances forced him out of favor with his chosen deity and into the circle of another. That seems like the perfect foil to I had a really good idea for my game and I thought you were going to ruin it, but it actually made it pretty cool.
Yeah.
Or maybe I've summed it up incorrectly.
Oh, I mean,
that sounds good.
Yeah, we like to ruin people's games here, but you guys keep foiling us, so
As hard as we try,
yeah, we try.
we keep succeeding.
Yeah, we keep.
No matter what we do, you keep having a good experience.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I like that. I like that a lot.
One of these years, I'll actually get all the character names pronounced correctly, even the ones that are in Skyrim. Yeah.
By the time you do, those characters will be long gone.
Will be long gone.
It'll be a new batch of characters
That you won't be able to pronounce.
Well, after making so many horrendous, painful audio mistakes, now they're spelling it out phonetically, so we've got kind of a hooked on phonics version of characters.
Yeah, well, you guys...
fantasy names,
yeah,
man, they're the worst.
They appreciate the idea of having us do it right, so...
Strudel says he was a semi-naked Nord, and I got to look at his chest for weeks. What's not to love?
There you go.
From season 1 of the podcast on, the naked Nord lives.
Yeah, for sure. No, I think that's great. That's a good take on it. I like the whole the Winter Sun angle.
Mm-hmm.
The switching gods and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's really
so
cool.
This was I don't know, how would we characterize this? Would we characterize this as this interpretation as a curse or kind of a divine? It was because the whole deal was kind of like this problem was caused by a lack of faith.
Divine providence, almost.
Yeah, by a lack of faith
From her scene.
or something like that. Yeah,
It was a redirection.
yeah.
Right.
I'm just trying to think of how to characterize that because we've had a curse option, right?
Religious upheaval.
We've had now some kind of a religious focus thing. We've had like a genetic disorder thing.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah,
All very different interpretations.
of the same metal.
Are they all the same metal?
Mm-hmm. so far. They've
Yeah.
all been steel.
They have, haven't they?
Was steel one of the more challenging ones
No,
to
I think
live with long term? Because at some point your steel doesn't get any better, right?
it's a bigger bang for the buck up front, but in the long term, yes, it can only go so far.
And
Yeah.
you can't stack steel armor, so like have 3 sets of armor on.
I don't know. Maybe if you have the right mod,
Yeah.
you could wear 2 cuirasses and.
Yeah, I think it's called the tank mod.
Like watching people put on like 100 t-shirts, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Right.
You wear a backpack on the back and the front at the same time. It's that kind of concept. Yeah.
Hey,
We used to
whatever
do that
works.
when portaging because I couldn't bear the idea of making more than one trip.
If you're gonna
Yeah,
go,
so-
you just have to balance
Yeah.
yourself.
It's just a
right?
pack at that point.
Yeah.
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 Did you have 2 of these? Like one on the front, one on the back?
Oh no, it wasn't frame packs. It was like Duluth packs.
Oh, okay.
So they're
Yeah.
easier to carry that way.
Yep.
But,
I was trying to figure out how he was going to wear an external frame pack.
I can't see.
You're gonna pack this just right.
What's really helpful is this acrylic window they've put in the middle.
You're
Yeah.
wearing a sandwich board.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what it would be like.
Matt is referring to my old frame backpack, which is sitting over here behind Joe.
It's only slightly out of view.
What, the pack?
Yeah. Not Joe.
Joe? He's totally in view.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Joe's totally in view. Now you can see the pack hanging back there. Yeah.
Said pack.
Is it full of MREs or anything right now?
No, not really.
So yeah, this would be a bugger to put on.
In the
Well-
front.
Yeah, it would be pretty rough. Yeah.
Considering the straps are down here, you'd have to cut a window.
Actually,
Yeah, it's- yeah.
you never know. It actually. I can't believe you're trying this. Oh, this is
Yeah,
great.
that's just not good. You'd have to get to one of those little periscopes.
Actually, it's not bad if he does that. He can,
Awesome portaging.
and if you have the canoe on top of the 2 of them, you don't even
Yeah.
have to hold the canoe.
Yeah, you'd
You
have to get some sort
you
of
can lash it
periscope.
to the top part of the frame.
Hold her, Canute.
Hold your canoe, buddy.
That's what my dad used to say that all the time growing
Hold her,
up when he
Canute.
wanted me to slow down. Hold her, Canute.
Your dad used to say and still does a lot of things.
Yeah, he says a lot of things. yeah. Like, stop, dumbass. No, he never said that. He was better about it than that.
It'd be a lot more creative, I think.
As someone who used to be a Ghostbuster, those things are terrible to wear.
What?
Alice frames. I
That's
never heard
a-
it called an Alice frame.
That's a classic, that one. Actually, that's the second frame. It used to have a different frame, and I bought it a replacement and took the whole pack apart, put it on a new frame and everything.
Wow.
Painted the frame myself.
You've been modding your whole life.
Yeah, I modded my pack. But, here's the thing, right? Like, if you look at it, this pack, the original pack didn't have a cross piece on it.
Sydney says
Another demo.
a normal backpack is bad enough. It holds all of your stress.
Exactly. So it didn't have this cross piece on it. It just stopped right here.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
And what I liked about this, right, is when you put it on, you
got some
you just slip your arms in and that kind of thing.
See,
it's
now
not
for-
it's
see,
not
for
like
me,
you're
it
a
would be-
firefighter, Matt, where you're gonna flip
Yeah.
it over your head
Yeah.
because it's
You can't just
yeah.
go like this. Yeah. The advantage with the large bottle packs with the fire department, I think, was largely because the weight actually carried well down your back when you get to the high pressure small bottles.
Yeah.
The frame itself actually was heavier than the bottle.
Yeah.
So you never knew whether you really had it in position or whatever. So
We never had the small ones. We always the whole time I was in we had
we
just
got
the
to
big
try them
bottles.
on. But
Are
we
they
didn't
like
get to
half the
use them.
size of the other ones? Or?
Well, it's double the pressure, half the size, right? So it's small, and the bottle itself felt more like the weight of a gallon of water,
Okay.
which was annoying because you put on one of the big steel bottles, a 30-minute bottle. The thing weighed what, 50 pounds?
Yeah.
With the frame and the bottle. So I mean, you
So if
you
it
sort
ever
of
got
settle
pierced,
into
though,
that.
you'd explode into mist.
Probably. Yeah. But you watch how they're made, sort of molded and then wrapped in fiberglass and Kevlar or whatever they were kind of a dream because you could get like 60 minutes out of those little bottles. The problem is that after 30 minutes you're completely wasted. You know, when you're ripping down
Well, you're not
ceilings.
supposed to be in for more than 30 minutes anyway.
But because you have the air.
Well, yeah.
I'm fine for a couple more minutes. Yeah, right? Oh, it's been 30 minutes? You know?
Ready to pass out.
Kelly, come out. You can't be in there any longer.
All right.
Yeah, come on. All right. Next we have The Wind has submitted homework for Siluan Ivy Wind, a Bosmer archer and mage. Her sacred metal is refined moonstone. Would have been very interesting had it been refined moon sugar.
Yeah.
They call that skooma.
Is that metal?
I thought it was, but collecting it. Refined moonstone. Main plot. A young heiress escapes a stifling existence. Subplot. Something precious has been lost. Primary trait, ambitious. Secondary trait, risk taker, which sounds vaguely like ambitious, but in a different way. Background.
Vicious risk taker.
Ambitious risk taker. Yes. We're back to the high school thing again. Okay, background. Siluan was raised surrounded by wealth and, in her mind, unrealistic and unacceptable expectations. While her noble family expected her to marry a boy she does not like, Siluan preferred sneaking out to hunt to avoid wedding plans and her duty to her family. On the day of her arranged meeting.
Her what?
Meddling is apparently
Her
what I was
arranged
gonna say.
meddling?
On the day of her arranged meddling, yes. On the day of her arranged wedding, Siluan convinced her sister to take her place. Since her sister was already enamored with Siluan's betrothed, she readily agreed. This deception was uncovered on the wedding night, bringing shame to her family's good name. To make amends, Siluan leaves Valenwood for Skyrim, seeking something precious to restore honor to her family and also prove her worth as a hunter. Tell us about it. I followed the Dawnguard quest for 2 reasons. The fact that it takes time to complete, and that the prize of it at the end is Ariel's bow. Ariel? Ariel's bow. I didn't know that there were any mermaids in this.
I know. Who knew?
Little did you know. The bow is
Under the sea.
It's under the sea. Yeah. Quel dommage, what the loss. Here we go, it's the sauce. What a sweet little succulent crab. The bow is the something precious that she wants to bring home to restore honor to her family. Since it takes a few levels before the quest begins, I used side quests to begin Siluan's character and see where the game took her. As Siluan's journey progressed, she developed a deeper understanding of the world, people, and events around her. She discovered that her personal needs might not be as important as the greater good. Growing up is tough. Siluan became part of something bigger than herself during her quest to take down the vampire menace with the Dawnguard and recover Ariel's bow. She would eventually return home to Valenwood with the bow to restore honor to her family, but she chooses not to stay. Instead, Siluan returns to Skyrim to continue her journey of self-discovery and be a champion for the people she encounters. What I enjoyed about this challenge is the way I had to think differently and play differently than I normally would. Every decision Siluan made had a consequence, so she was deliberate in her choices, and by extension, so was I. Yeah. She had to make thoughtful and informed decisions. Yes! My connection to Siluan and understanding of her as a character deepened through this type of gameplay in ways I hadn't previously experienced. Hang on.
Yeah.
Hang on. Stu's eyes are rolling back. He's having a moment. I watched her grow as a character through this style of play, and I suspect I will carry this into future playthroughs.
Forever and ever. In my heart of hearts.
I also appreciated the random werewolf attacks the game threw at me. That's not something you normally hear. These attacks fed into my desire for Siluan to experience some sort of test as a result of her not only breaking the Green Pact, but also as penance for being self-centered and reckless. Back to high school. My intention was to console in werewolves. My
Console.
intention was to console in
Console
werewolves.
the werewolves. Yeah.
I was wondering. So okay, so
I
we
feel
need
ya.
I need a hyphen there. Console in.
Back
It's
to
all
castle.
right.
Just calm.
It's all right. I'll read you some poetry.
Okay.
Console the werewolves.
Console in. Okay.
I like console.
Yeah, I know. I see her just giving them tummy rubs.
Who's that good? That's a good boy. That's a good boy.
You're such a good boy. Such a good boy. My intention was to console in werewolves, but between mods and game mechanics, I didn't have to do that. Console in werewolves? Okay, see, this is what happens when you don't free read, right?
You read that freely quite well.
I like this version.
It's commas and hyphenation and punctuation makes a difference.
Let's eat, Grandma.
Let's eat, Grandma. As opposed to helping your Uncle Jack off a horse. Yes.
I've never heard that one.
Emphasis makes all the difference.
Yes, it does. You have to have the emphasis on the right slow. There's something about being 12
That's a tall
that's
order.
so fun. Well, there's only a couple more paragraphs of this that I need to read. No. Hang on, my emphysema's kicking in.
Oh, my core hurts.
I know.
At least they said core and not colon.
Oh, ooh, that's later.
I also had Seelman meditate every morning after consuming her ingredients as a way to ask forgiveness for going against her personal beliefs. I can't say there was anything that didn't work for me during this challenge. Challenge, not season. It's a challenge.
Challenge.
Challenge. It's a consoling challenge. And I actually had fun keeping track of how many ingredients Seelman had to ingest or deciding if looting was worth the cost for her. The biggest surprise was how focused and invested I was in Seelman's journey. I love the word journey. I learned to think and see through Seelman's eyes instead of my own. I'm going to start crying in a minute.
I don't.
All in all,
The wind, I don't think this was the triumphant reading. I think this was the waxing. I think this was the waxing.
Or possibly the waning.
all in all, this was the most satisfying Unbound season I experienced.
Yeah!
I am sad that Unbound has come to an end in this iteration anyway, but will continue to find a way to incorporate parts of the last 4 seasons into future characters and their stories.
Nice.
Okay. Let's take a break. Beer time.
Wow, that was. We've got
That
one,
was awesome.
We got one left, and that was a tearjerker.
That was good. I love that.
I think we need to go console some werewolves.
I don't know what you're talking about, Wind. I think that was a fantastic write-up. It was great.
That was good.
We were giggling a lot throughout it, but it was excellent.
Mostly because of Matt. But
Was I supposed to be reading this entire thing triumphantly?
No, that was well, maybe it was hers that was triumphant. Who got waxed? I forget. I'll have to consult.
Hang on. Let's get
Jack's
the hairy
horse?
arm out.
Jack's horse.
Let's get the hairy arm out. Leave Jack's horse out of this.
Help Uncle Jack off the horse.
Punctuation makes the difference.
I love that. Okay,
All
break
right,
time, everyone.
We'll be back.
Yeah. Oh Jesus.
Are we just going to leave the camera on the couch and the candle?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a couch and a candle
Couch.
there.
And Sydney says that's not triumphant. That's Scottish.
Well, aren't they one and the same?
She's not wrong. Trolliant was supposed to get waxed, is what
Oh,
I'm
okay.
reading.
Trallian gets the waxing. We finished with the waxing.
Are we finishing with the waxing?
I think so.
that sounds fabulous.
Find out if we're ending the podcast with the waxing.
Oh, your beer's ready, man.
Yes! The Trolliant wax. We'll see you in a few minutes.
corn dog.
Yar! Yes, the mic was muted. Thanks for everybody who stuck around with us.
So we got one reading left.
That's
Is
a
that the
gorgeous
deal?
place, isn't it? What is that?
Is it Jerusalem?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Gotta
You'd have
give
to tap
Microsoft
and
some
find out.
props for
Yeah, they got some like that one up there too.
Yeah.
ancient conquerors and modern day vacationers alike. Being Malta.
Malta.
Valleja, Malta.
Where the falcon comes from.
Popular for its sandy beaches and glamorous resorts.
Yeah.
The Maltese
An
one.
island nation that is rich in history. Aren't most places rich in history?
The malted falcon.
The Malted Falcon.
That's what it was.
Molten falcon.
The
That
molten.
was on Mustafa.
Is that where
Okay.
malted milk comes from?
Yes, Malta.
And the little chocolate balls.
Yeah. Whoppers. on the island of Whopper.
I thought he was a judge.
Judge Whopper.
Judge Whoppers.
So we got one left. Is that the deal?
Yes, that's. Yes, Sydney. I knew that you would see the sriracha. Yay, sriracha! The one thing I can't have.
All right.
That's what the sriracha's for.
Let me kill the music and we'll get going here. One more. And then the rest of the evening's just all grab ass.
But we have a significant entry from Tralliant before the Krabasky starts.
And is this in what style?
This is waxed.
Waxed?
Yeah.
Am I supposed to be waxing poetic this time?
Yes.
Oh, we've got wax.
Look at this. It's a cup of wax.
Yeah.
All right.
Is that scented?
Yeah.
I will admit,
Grapefruit.
there were plenty of times when
Too close. Oh!
It takes care of that nose hair.
supposed to dip your fingers in there and then peel it off.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Fingers.
And unless you were dangerous as an altar boy and you tipped it on your arms and let it all cool. Yeah.
I did.
I never did that.
That was another time in life.
I
Interesting.
did the altar boy thing, but I didn't do the thing with the wax.
Those candles are
It sounds kind of weird, actually.
like while you're waiting, you gotta let the candles start to burn a little bit. Yeah. Anyway, we'll come back.
It
to
looks
that.
like there's another T-shirt.
Ooh, we've got wax, Joe, 2019.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. So I don't know if I'm
Weird
supposed
science.
to. So if I'm
Wax
waxing
molasses.
poetic, or do I need to make this into some sort of interesting sort of rhyme of the Ancient Mariner kind of reading? Or
Oh,
what
that's
does
my
this need to
favorite
be?
poem.
You need to do what you need to do, Matt.
I think we'll
you're
just
freestyling.
I'm freestyling.
Because he's free.
Freestyling. I have to say, Joe, one of my least favorite singers ever in the world was Tom Petty, but they had really, really poignant lyrics, right? So
Yeah, I would
love
agree.
pointy lyrics.
look at this. We're all sitting forward like it's the last submission.
Waiting.
This is it. This is it. This is the
Yours to
swan
let me
song
continue.
of Character Crusade. We're rolling off into the sunset
With wax
with
and
well,
sriracha.
Yes.
Waxing
Waxing
sriracha.
waxing siracha.
Waxing sriracha. Okay.
That'll be the name of our first live album.
Waxing sriracha. The Character Crusade greatest hits. Waxing sriracha.
Put that on a T-shirt and smoke it.
Ooh, that's hot.
So because I've only mispronounced it 40 or 50 times, we'll get into Anna Stenion, right? Eliana, I think. Character summary. I really enjoyed Anna as a character in season 3 of Unbound, and I decided I wanted to continue her story into season 4, despite protestations and serious discussion not to. In season 3, Anna's story revolved around her trying to find her uncle who had been kidnapped by the Thalmor. Along the way, she discovered that the amulet her uncle gave her allowed her to transform into a powerful warrior, like Stu. This warrior, not you. This warrior called herself Belle, and she began to develop a very distinct personality apart from Anna. Excuse me. See, I did it again. Anna. She also got caught up in the dragon crisis, which sounds like a whole different kind of a problem. Found out that she was the only remaining heir of Tiber Septim and constantly struggled against her alter ego, Belle, for control. By the end of the season, what are you doing over there? Are you trying to get them to hum like crystal glasses?
I'm just doing stuff. You just keep reading. Don't you worry about what's...
You guys do your own thing. By the end of the season, Belle had essentially become the antagonist of the story when she took control and killed Anna's uncle at Northwatch Keep. During the story's climax, Anna finally overcomes the guilt she feels over her uncle's death. She defeats Belle's influence, and she takes full control of her amulet's power. Tell us about it. I can see you. During the initial podcast for the season, when the sacred element theme was announced, my first don't catch the beard on fire. That will be hard to put out. Maybe that's what ghosts are really. During the initial podcast for the season, when the sacred element theme was announced, my first reaction was that there was no way I could incorporate this into Anna's current story. As the podcast went on, I gave it more thought. A possibility began to take shape.
Wait, what?
A possibility.
A possibility.
A possibility?
Yeah.
This is where the waxing starts.
So you're
Sweet.
saying there's a chance. As I considered this theme, it dawned on me that Belle could still be an antagonist in this season. If she wasn't entirely gone, if part of Belle was still in Anna or in her amulet, she could mess with Anna's mind from behind the scenes. She could, for instance, make Anna feel sick every time she comes in contact with different types of metal. Because Belle doesn't want Anna to be able to fight or use the power of the amulet apart from her, she makes it nearly impossible for Anna to use any kind of weapon or armor without being debilitated by the pain. That is a very serious type of allergy. Debilitating pain is not something you overcome with, like, Seldane, right?
With what?
Like Claritin,
Oh,
Flonase,
okay.
allergy pills, or snowberries, right?
Right.
No one else can find a reason for the sudden allergic reaction to metals because it's all in Anna's head. After much experimentation, she finds that using various herbs and items minimizes the symptoms, but only temporarily. You guys start kissing over there, we're in trouble. Of course, there is nothing actually physically wrong with Anna. All of these items merely have a placebo effect and nothing more. The only metal that doesn't bother her is silver, which coincidentally is the same metal her amulet is made from. Anna begins piecing, not piercing things together. Yes, she begins piecing things together when she starts having strange nightmares involving Belle.
You could pierce things together.
You could pierce things together. Yeah. That might make for a
you
very
could
different
pierce
kind
both
of story.
your ears together.
You could pierce two people's ears together. Yes.
Yeah, if you were to take both lobes, put them back to back, and then pierce them all at once.
Like with what? A stapler?
I don't know. Spear?
Double piercing?
Broadsword? I don't know. That's how they did it back then. Swords.
With a broadsword?
Yeah, and a little piece of apple or potato.
Yeah, for sure.
And a broadsword.
Yeah, you gotta have something to stab into so you don't stab into your brain.
Sometimes. Depends on whose ears you're piercing, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anna begins piecing things together when she starts having strange nightmares involving Belle. After that, she starts to suspect Belle is not truly gone, and that she is, in fact, responsible for all of this. Unfortunately, I didn't get too far with the story this season. Some real-life things came up, and I also realized that I needed a little break from gaming in general. Despite that, I ended up loving this concept. See, possibility turned into love, Stu. One of the things that, see, it's my waxing poetic right there.
Nice.
One of the things that makes these Unbound seasons and these types of challenges so fun is that it forces me to be creative. I never would have thought of an idea like this, but now that it's part of Anna's story, I love it, and it feels like it fits perfectly. I'm sorry I wasn't able to fully participate this time, but thanks so much for all that you do to keep this community fun and engaging. From possibility to love to community to engaging.
Belle is such a bitch. She is.
But it's yet
Always
another interesting
warning
take
in.
on it.
It is.
So
It's
what
awesome.
do we have now? We've got
Well, this is like a whole kind of weird split personality, alter ego kind of thing, right?
right, and almost verging on possession.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So this is like a much more sort of supernatural based
Yeah,
interpretation.
which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah, so we got 4 very unique
Curses,
interpretations of
religion,
this. Yeah,
possession,
yeah,
sort of schizophrenia, but, multiple personality
Yeah.
Right.
challenges.
Right.
yeah. And as a rule, I mean, for every 4 people that listen to our podcast and participate in these exercises, there's 400 who hate it. So I think we should sort of celebrate the 400 out there who we turned off from our podcast. It makes it easier to...
Well, it's really about separating the chaff and
And the
Yeah.
weeds.
the weeds.
Yeah.
So how much wheat do we have here?
What if you're allergic to chaff?
Oh, man.
You want to get rid of
Whoa.
What if you're allergic
Yeah.
to wheat and could only eat the chaff?
That'd be
that would be
Husky.
nutritiously insufficient.
a
Yes,
lot
it
of
would.
fiber.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm,
yeah, there
I'm
would be
fairly
that.
sure that
Yeah.
your intestines might not survive
Yeah,
that
you'd
for
be-
very long.
You'd be crapping like continuously. I would think. I mean,
Well, it would
I
just
wouldn't
be
know, but
it would be
I would
like
say-
eating popcorn husks all the time.
or kale,
Or kale. But not as chewy.
and it would
I
it
can-
wouldn't taste like crap. I think I'd rather eat chaff than kale any day.
Yeah, well, you're gonna hear probably from my daughter. She loves kale, so
Oh, Sydney,
you're gonna get an earful
That's all right.
for not liking kale.
Kale and sriracha sandwiches.
Yuck!
Delicious.
That sounds so good.
Love me a good kale sriracha wrap.
Kale sriracha wrap. Can you imagine? Here I am at work having my kale sriracha wrap. Maybe I could have that around some sardines.
Joe's gonna start his own food truck, man.
Yeah.
It's be all
See,
kale
kale is
sriracha.
awesome. Kale is awesome. All right, Sydney, we got to cut down on the yelling, though.
be la kale-racha.
Kale sriracha.
Okay, love-
The kale sriracha.
spicy.
Yeah, he would have one of those horns.
How do you think that would be on the Versa?
That'd be fantastic.
The Versa
We
horn
make you go
already
but it
sounds...
burn when it come out.
The horn on my car already sounds like a pathetic moped horn. So
No.
at some point I should replace it with like dual air horns from a truck.
Auga.
Or
Auga.
auga. Yeah, that would be better. You get one of the crank ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great. I do have to say that over all the time, with all the submissions, I love the creativity and the time that people pour into writing those things.
No kidding.
It's
Yeah.
got to feel kind of stressful to know that it's going to be read to all these millions of podcast attendees. You know,
Yes.
to have your story read, misread, mispronounced,
Just plain
misenunciated, brutalized. When you're piercing things together, it's always difficult. You know?
Yes.
And when you're helping your Uncle Jack off his horse,
Yes.
it gets really complicated. So,
Yeah, okay, so I think last time in season 3, we ended the season by doing a little retrospective where we talked about it, right? And I think that's kind of a fun exercise because it gives us an opportunity to talk about how it went, but what we might change if we were to do it
so you're
again,
asking us
right?
to look back?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah, look back, dude.
at that.
So, I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to think of anything I would have changed. I mean, I would have liked to have seen more active participation in this. And I think to some degree that, that the lack of participation was driven by the nature of the challenge.
Yeah.
It was pretty
I would agree.
complex.
It was a difficult one to really grasp and own.
Right.
Do you think that this season of Unbound could have potentially gotten more legs had it been longer in duration? Right?
I don't think so.
Okay, because sometimes for me, like, I got a Tom Clancy book as a gift, right? The thing is enormous. It's like reading the Thornbirds or something, right? It's huge. And it took me a few chapters to get into it before you start to kind of really realize what's going on. You need the backstory, you need the challenge, and then you get there and you're like, oh, now I get it. I think what was really hard about this was the math. Right? That's why I think that sort of the,
the perceived
unmitigated allergy mod for
perceived difficulty of the
Yeah.
math.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it ended up being difficult, but on the surface, it seemed like there was a lot to try to keep a hold of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which there really wasn't, but I can
But
see
it
where
was
that
the
could
first
be.
time that there really was what looked like a limitation.
Right.
It really isn't
And-
a limitation. It just means you got to be ready to go and harvest.
You know, and it was
Yeah.
necessary because of the type of, it was a mechanics challenge, so there had to be some kind of, wrapper around it.
Yeah. I mean, exactly. I think too, playing into it is probably the fact that I believe a lot of people that come to this podcast, come to my channel, come to your channel, whatever, they're coming because they like role play and they like narrative,
Yeah,
right?
and this broke that mold.
And this really, it totally did break the mold. You're right.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the reason.
Yeah.
What?
Some of it is that people had other things go on in their
Yeah.
life, just happened to be sort of
Well, there's
challenging
that
timing.
too. There's that
Yeah.
too.
And then the wind says that they would have liked to have seen us do it too.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we acknowledge that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, it is, and I for me, I guess that's part of the reason why I felt, at least for me, I wanted to see Unbound end, because I felt like, me personally, I wasn't doing enough to support the effort because I just didn't have the time to do it. Right, like I had to make a choice. Am I either going to create these characters and go through these 12-week cycles, or am I going to focus on the larger story I have been telling? And I can't do both.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think going through a season like this and not having one of us supporting the effort through example and role play,
Right.
just
It's tough.
it doesn't make the model as viable.
Yeah, there's no supporting.
Right. So when you think about it, right, in season 1, I was along for the ride the whole way.
Yeah.
In season 2, it was all about your story, so we weren't playing along necessarily. I tried to a little bit, but I couldn't keep up.
Yeah.
But the whole thing was driven by your narrative, which was really strong,
It was really
right?
cool.
And then it was when we got into season 3 and 4 that things started to fall aside, because at that point you were burned out on that storytelling and you had your own channel to do stuff on.
Right.
And I was focused on, my stories as well. And we just couldn't support it in a way that made it as fun, I would say.
I think that's a fair assessment.
And lots of life transitions for people in
Yeah.
the last 12 months, right?
A lot.
Yeah.
A
So
lot.
So yeah, I would totally acknowledge that point. That it would have been probably more engaging if we had been able to,
Yeah.
come along for the ride.
Yep.
But
Yeah. That's the challenge for us going forward then too, right?
it is. To
To try to figure out if we're going to do live streams together again. In what way could we do that?
and not just the VR on the
right,
trio
right.
game.
What's
Yeah.
what is it? Is there anything that's sustainable or?
Yeah, what could we do? It would be possible. Think about, I guess for me, when I think about the road ahead, what I liked about Unbound was I liked the fact that it was broken up into very discrete seasons. We knew exactly when it was going to start and when it was going to end. And it put us in this position where if we got to the end of the season and there were no new ideas and stuff like that, we could stop there, or we could take as long a break as we needed to. Right? I like that part of it. Going forward, I don't know what it is we decide to do, but whatever it is, I would like to see it be something that, if we got together and decided to stream, it was casual, it was, something where, there was potentially some variability, or it was basically relaxed. It wouldn't require a lot of planning.
A lot more impromptu, perhaps.
Just, hanging out, right?
And we kind of did that with ESO on the last 24-hour live stream, right? Mm-hmm. Just trying to give the game some playtime.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that comes to mind is like, what if we were to get together every 2 weeks and just stream where we play a game, we play the same game every time, we make a character, and we just push that character through an adventure of some sort, and it's kind of like a deep dive into the game, but all we got to do is we got to come here, on a Monday night, set up the stuff and say, okay, guys, where did we leave off? Let's continue. And it's about exploring.
Get out the story cubes and send us some random
who knows, whatever we want to do, right? But, I mean, that's the kind of experience I would, if we were going to do something, I would like to have the sort of experience where we could get together and just do something free form, and it wouldn't require a bunch of advanced planning.
Right.
I think that was one of the reasons why I enjoyed the 3-play games as well, because watching the story arcs of the long form stories that you guys were working on was so awesome, and then to punctuate that with something like the puzzle games or Myst or anything else for that matter was really fun to just see something that was different, because the play styles aren't necessarily the same, but the same way that you think about your character would always find its way in. Right? Yeah. Who's my person? Why are they here? What are they doing? It's more than just plopping in some random dude, right? Is going to go through the mechanics of the game, right? So,
yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know.
Because you could even do something like let's see what we can do to not level up, right? What do you do to get through the game and do whatever you're doing, get as far as you can down the quest lines without leveling up? Yeah. Or conversely, if you're going to give yourself an hour, how far can you go in leveling in an hour?
Right.
Or just some simple other constraints like not being able to use particular weapons or whatever. And sometimes that's easy when you, for example, forget your clothes at the fire and things like that. But doing it intentionally, right?
Right.
Never choosing particular weapons, I think, has always been one way of doing that. So
yeah. I don't know. I mean, I liked 3-play as well, and I messaged you guys this weekend because I went back and watched the Gomo 3-play, which was really fantastic. It was just stupid, right, and fun, right, and it was us goofing around, and there were some really funny gems in there, like some good stuff. I think the problem with the 3-play format for us was always the switching off. Do we have something new?
Yep. Do I have to invert the mouse?
Do I need to invert the mouse? All these kinds of things. And I guess for me, if we were going to do something as a continuation, I would almost like to see a scenario where the 3 of us picked a single game together and we decided we were going to just play the whole thing through end to end, the 3 of us together. And if we were going to do that, I mean, we could even run it on the PC, but we could hook it up with the controller dongle, right?
Oh, yeah.
So we could play it on the TV, and we could just pass around the controller between the 3 of us when we want to switch, and it doesn't turn into a big rigmarole, right?
Yeah.
And we could pick some games that were sort of role-play focused or about exploration, so we don't have to worry about, like, tense combat and do we suck at this game and that kind of stuff.
Side-scrolling and
all that kind of shit. So I think that there's some opportunities there.
Is Assassin's Creed open world or is it linear?
It's open world. I mean, I would compare it in some ways to Skyrim in that there's lots of little side quests and things that you can do. The world is pretty open. You can go where you want to, but there is a single quest that you're kind of following.
Your objective, okay.
There's an objective.
Never played it, just wondering.
The new versions of Assassin's Creed are actually, I think, a lot more friendly to the type of play that we usually do.
Okay.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and those where you're, like in ancient Greece and stuff like that, which is pretty fascinating. But I wouldn't be opposed to something like that, and it would be the kind of thing where we could have a complete game experience and we could set the gear up the same way every time. We knew how it would work, but
Right.
I'm open to other ideas too.
Well, and even if we don't kind of set up a neutral environment, we could do a 3-play where, one person is at the helm the whole time.
Yeah.
Where we're not screwing around, switching things up. So then we do have,
Yeah.
we eliminate the controller issues and just the interruption.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that was a lot of it.
And so we stick with the same game, but then rotate each session,
Yeah,
kind of thing.
exactly.
Is an option.
Yeah, that could be good, and I think the key would just be, game selection, coming
Yeah.
up with the right one, and if we're getting together, every other Monday and just having this kind of fun game experience where, we just play and shoot the shit and have a good time for 3 or 4 hours,
Right.
and do that every couple of weeks. That would be pretty cool.
Right, plus we've never been able to break out the guys again,
That's
Whether
right.
it's the guys from Styx or whatever.
Exactly.
Because it was kind of fun when you just fall into something like that during the course of a game, and you spend 15 minutes trying to regain your breath after you've been laughing really hard. But I thought it was just hilarious for all the games that we went through. It was always something fun.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, we like streaming for you guys. We think it's a lot of fun. You guys are amazing, and I need to get together with these guys every couple of weeks and just laugh until my gut hurts
Blow
because
off steam.
it's like a good release.
It's the only exercise I get.
Yeah, I mean, how else are you going to work your core, right? But
This one ab.
yeah,
Yeah.
work your ab. So I don't know. That's what comes to mind when I think about a direction we could go.
Future.
Some thoughts. But it
And
all
it might
comes
be
down
fun
to
to get some
setup and game
suggestions
selection.
for games that would fit that too.
Yeah. I tend to think of, like games that have a similar pace to something like Skyrim or Outward or, role play type games where, if you need to pause and breathe for a moment and stuff like that, you can do that. Assassin's Creed allows you to do that as well.
Okay.
You can kind of, catch your breath. You don't have to move at a breakneck pace. It's not like,
Playing Unreal Tournament.
yeah, it's not like intense. You just, if you need to stop, you stop. You're camping, you're sleeping, you're, doing side quests, whatever it is. It's got to be something that's kind of open and flexible. So, but that's just one thought. There's a whole bunch of different things we could do, including not streaming at all is one of them.
But one of the advantages, I think, if we were to do that now, is that we would have a much simplified setup.
Yeah.
Right. I think one of the things that got so complicated, especially back before we were in this space, is that we were really, really tightly packed.
Yeah.
We had wires running everywhere. Like it
Yeah.
looked like the Nebuchadnezzar sometimes, with all the wires and monitors and everything running everywhere. If it sounds good enough, and we can still get the stuff done and not have wires and mics and headsets and everything, we can still enjoy the whole experience without spending an hour before and an hour afterwards setting up and taking down.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, for all the folks who are listening now, I'd love to know whether or not whether the sound is good enough for the way that it is right now for what we're doing. And if it is, then, we worked our tails off to improve it a little bit at a time, and then it just got to the point where it was like, do we have an hour to do that setup now?
Yeah.
Let's just put out the mic and play and talk and so
Yeah. Well, that's I think what you mentioned is key, right? We're in a space now where we can spread out and where we could set things up and sort of leave them in a reasonably good condition so that each time it's like, we got to run a couple of wires and then we're done. And
pretty easy.
I mean, we set up for the podcast tonight sitting in this format. The three of us worked on it and we were set up in 10 minutes.
Oh yeah.
It's that part is easy. So I think we could come up with something like that if we wanted to, and anyway.
we can have the dinner camera, and then we can have the streaming camera.
Yeah.
You know, sort of the pre-show, right?
Yeah.
The green room kind of camera.
Yeah. I would love to get a couple of wireless cameras that we could just hook in and put one over there.
Yeah, that wouldn't be creepy to have it turn on at 4 a.m. or anything.
Oh no, not at all.
Oh, now live streaming.
Yep. I don't understand. I can't seem to get a date. What's the problem? Every time they come over, they just run away.
And you're up, you know, eating cheese slices all night.
Sit a little bit to the left. There you go. You're right in frame.
That's good. Now state your full name.
So, yeah.
But I think, you know, again, if we look at what's transpired just over the course of this season, you know, moving around from place to place in here and eating and talking and doing whatever. I mean, sometimes it's the fun part is the chatting in between while we're talking about everybody's submissions and everything else.
Yeah.
You know, there's so much that goes on in the time that it takes to sort of regain our breath sometimes to realize that someone like Trollian probably spent half an hour writing all that out and you know, making sure that it was readable and a lot more, and the time that went into that, and you know, the time that you guys spend getting into, you know, pulling your stories together and what's this episode going to look like, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
So,
well, people are saying the sound is good, the way that we've got ourselves set up here. I like the idea of just like some casual fun, sit on the couch gaming, low pressure, and you do something.
On the Couch Warrior couch, which I still think is an incredibly impressive piece of furniture, by the way.
Oh, it is pretty impressive, I will tell you.
In the condition that.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Got it in this.
Yeah, exactly. So that could be fun. But plenty to think
And
about.
you got lots of gaming options here too, because you've got the Xbox plus the Cube, right? So
yeah, I think what I would be looking to do is probably, I mean, it would be nice to get a game that would run well on the PC, and that would give us the option, if we wanted to opt for a controller. Otherwise, you know, sitting on the couch like this playing would be kind of tough with a keyboard and mouse setup.
Yes, it would.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that would be kind of uncomfortable.
Yeah, we'd
I
have
suck
to.
at controllers.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm thinking what we need is, and so do I. I'm way out of practice, but
if now with the updates to the Xbox, in theory, if you needed to, you can actually plug a keyboard and mouse into the Xbox.
yeah, you can.
Which also is really weird, right? Because you know, you think you turn on the Xbox, you're going to be in controller mode, but
Well, that sucker's old too. I mean, that's a 360, and all that I use it for is playing Minecraft. I just play Minecraft on it and nothing else.
I think they just sold 140 millionth copy of Minecraft
Good
or some
Lord.
ridiculous. I think I was reading that the other day, that they think that it's the highest selling video game of ever. So
I
Okay.
can't believe it though. I mean, it's just so open.
and you can do anything
you
right?
want.
Yeah. I mean, I play with my son, and we just get in there in creative mode and we just build.
Yep.
Oh no, excuse me. 176 million copies have been sold worldwide.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
crazy.
So, I mean, I know that we've got a core audience here who would attend anytime we stream, probably no matter what we stream, just because they're good friends. So what I would say to you guys is, if if you think something like that would be fun to watch, like Matt said, let us know what you think.
They're all saying we'd watch.
Well, let us know what kind of games you think would be good. I mean,
Do they want to watch us play Minecraft from the start?
oh, and yeah, we just get together and just
Blank slate
just
and build?
build every other.
There's a therapeutic quality to that, though.
There kind of is.
The question is do you play Minecraft with the Minecraft music on?
I don't.
Because
just turn that
nearly
shit off.
everyone I know has to turn the Minecraft music off, or you start to go a little red rum.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nutty. Like what we do is we play Minecraft. We turn off the Minecraft music and we spin records.
Yeah.
That's what I've been doing, and it's awesome. And it forces me to get up and flip the record over every now and then too, and get off my ass. But
That is an important distinction, though, for folks who have been listening to the podcast for a while. We went from digital back to analog when Stu got a turntable. And so, I mean, it's been great. And I know that you've only got, 20 or so albums over here, but it's nice watching the vinyl go down onto the player. I mean, there's something satisfying about the as it hits, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it's pretty cool.
It would be fun to do something like that, but yeah, let's think about it. Let's think about what we want to do. If you guys have any suggestions for games that you think would be our speed, you know what it is that we like to do, right? We like to game. We like it to be casual. We like to goof off. So it can't be anything intense, and it can't be anything that requires someone to be awesome with a controller, at least not at the start, right?
That's the advantage with Minecraft, I think, is that you build up your dexterity with the controller.
Yeah, you're just building, right?
Yeah.
But that I don't know. I mean, it also has to be something that's going to allow us to have some degree of entertainment as well for 3 hours or 4 hours for 3 people, right?
And I think that's what's, gonna perhaps be what happens here for the next few times that we get together, whether it's dedicated streaming, conversation podcast like this, or whatever. It may be some completely random thing that we decide that we're going to stream, and we have no idea what's going to happen, and you're going to be along for a weird bumpy ride for a couple 3 hours, and it may be great, it may be terrible, but you know, it'll be a little window on the world, a little Truman Show here for a while.
Yeah. Well, we thank you for your support.
The wind
guys.
says that's half the fun, watching you guys fumble.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we do a lot of that. Yeah. Well, here's what I think. I mean, I don't think it's going to be the end, but I think we're going to do something different, and there could be a significant break. I mean, I don't want to see us jump into something unless we know for sure we've got an idea that we're excited about. So, you know, maybe we take a month, maybe we take the whole summer. I don't know.
But we've taken breaks in the past.
Yeah, we've taken breaks in the past, and we've always come back. So, I think we'll come back.
Shinier every time.
Certainly not going anywhere,
Yeah.
that's for sure.
Yeah. We're still going to do our streaming, and we're still going to run our channels, and we're still going to be in the community pestering you. So I don't see that changing. You know, I just think that the podcast has run its course, and I think for us,
From its original vision, especially.
yeah. I mean, the original vision I think for this was really strong. We've done a lot of strong podcasting, but we're just running out of steam because we've beat the dead horse that is Skyrim for such a long time now that there's really no more creative juice to wring out of it, I feel like.
No, nothing new. I mean,
Yeah.
you can certainly play the game forever.
Yeah.
And
But there's nothing more that we can offer on how to enhance that experience at this point.
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't think you, or anyone plans to stop playing soon.
No.
But
And there's new people picking it up all the time. I love the fact that Sydney's kind of getting into Skyrim now,
Sure.
right?
That's awesome.
So I think that is great fun. And that's on a 360.
But
and we did find our disc, by the way, so if you need your disc back, then...
we totally have gone over numerous things, and there are a lot of tools out there to help you along the way.
Yeah.
And that's really what it's about, is that we just have come to a point there aren't any more tools that we can offer you.
You know what I think it is?
In this
I think Bethesda has been waiting
scenario.
to release the next version
Until we're done?
Until we're finished.
That's
With
probably
That
it.
reminds me, I get back to Todd. He was asking me the other day.
Yeah.
About when we're going to be done so that they can release
Yeah.
the next version of the game.
Yeah.
Finally. Yeah.
Finally, you guys.
Yeah. Are they done yet?
You're the only ones who could kill a Skyrim horse.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll do a T-shirt giveaway, guys. This is the final season for that, though. So
This T-shirt? We're giving away this T-shirt?
not that one.
Right
Okay,
now.
I'll put it back on.
Right now. We've got Wax Dude to take care of.
Dude, you haven't. There's not really. Yeah. Anyway.
Thinking
Yeah.
weird science here a little bit.
Yep. So
You got it.
we'll do the T-shirt
That
giveaway.
was good.
Just let us figure it out. We'll get back to you on Discord. We'll let you know who the winners are, and we'll send them out.
Yeah.
T-shirt.
If you've won a shirt previously, you don't qualify. Sorry.
And if you win a T-shirt this time, just like last time, we'd love to see the person who wins the T-shirt in the T-shirt
Yes.
On the Discord.
on the Discord.
Exactly. All right.
If it's in person and we're not expecting it, that might be a bit of a surprise.
Yeah. Exactly. I would like to find a way in the future to be able to give away more merch if we could find a way to make it feasible, but
Yeah, it's hard.
yeah, it's hard because the way that we do our merch gets kind of expensive to produce. We'd have to come up with a much cheaper way to produce the stuff.
Like we would have to screen print it ourselves.
Exactly.
Yep.
Or have a friend who's willing to do it pretty cheaply,
Yep.
you know.
Well, the good thing is that, like, my other daughter knows how to do it, but we don't have a screen print frame and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, you got to
Take
take
some
the
work.
equipment.
yeah.
Yeah. We're just do iron-ons.
When
You
we
guys-
when we did that with the ogre on the frisbee ogre one, that lasted like 2 washings,
Oh,
and then
God.
it sort of
It's
turned into
gone,
the
yeah.
melted Shrek.
Get the iron on print paper and run it through the laser jet. And
Yeah.
That's how you do it.
then
Yep.
It'd be
here
classy,
you go.
classy as hell.
Congratulations.
It's not centered. Sorry.
Oh,
Sorry, the logo's
Off
down
on
by your
this side.
navel, but that
Just
doesn't
don't
look weird,
Just don't
does it?
wash it.
I still have a couple of those ones that we got really early on when we were still doing the land games, where I've got the lifeguard one and the biohazard one.
I got the
Yeah.
biohazard. I think somewhere
So-
still.
Yeah, I just have my F-bomb.
I got that one still.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
and
think,
it's
is that still available?
oh yeah, the F-bombs are still out there if you want them. They're in the store. They're in the Character Crusade shop.
There's a lot out there. I don't know that people do a lot of spelunking in the Character Crusade
Yeah,
shop.
there's quite a bit in there still.
Spelunky.
Spelunking.
Yeah.
Yes,
So-
full contact spelunking. Not good.
Yeah. So, all right, you guys. I don't know. Anything else to add, fellas?
Not really. I mean, I'm hoping to get my rig out of the doctor's office here anytime and
That'd be nice.
back up, and so I can actually get our last 2, now 3 podcasts released.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Are you using the old rig to do editing, or are you
No.
just on hold until it's out of the doctor's office?
No, I've been doing everything in the new one, so I got to wait till it gets back.
Gotcha.
And fortunately, it turns out that it's very likely a RAM issue, so I got a bad stick of RAM. I just don't know which one, so
Dims
hopefully
to
they can-
brakes.
They
Yeah.
can tell me.
Okay.
Did you
But-
install the new version of Audacity, by the way?
I don't know.
It's got some really nice improvements in the new version of Audacity in terms of being able to do multi-track punch-ins and stuff. It's pretty cool. So.
Multi-track pumpkins.
Punch-ins. Multi-track pumpkin.
Nice.
9.
Yeah.
Nice!
Nice. That's nice, eh?
Yes!
Well, I think we're all done with this podcast, eh?
I think we're done, eh?
Right.
Yeah, we're going to start a new podcast. It's all Cockney all the time, eh?
Really
Fucking
bad Cockney.
Yeah, real bad American Cockney. Eh?
Fake Cockney.
Yeah, we're just playing games, cussing in Cockney whatnots. Yeah.
But really poorly.
We all have to pretend that we've been inhaling smoke fumes all day.
Yeah, exhaust from our trucks and tractors.
What you mean?
Diesel.
Pretend.
What do you mean pretend?
Yeah.
All right, you guys. Thank you all so much for your support. Thank you for your participation this season. We'll get back to you on what our plans are going forward. Remember, Joe's channel, my channel, we've still got stories going on. Those things are going to be happening. And we are in the process of making plans for our marathon. And I think we are going to go our own way on date. I don't think we're going to wait until November to do our own marathon. I think we're going to do whatever we damn well please. So we'll let you know when that date is. But we've got some ideas already down for that. So we know that's coming. And we want to thank you for all your support. We've been doing this for 3.5+ years. It's been freaking amazing. And I think we'll be doing some streaming going forward. We'll just let you know on Discord what's happening and when.
Yeah.
All right?
Sweet.
All right. Anything else, fellas?
It's been great.
I think
All
that's
right.
a wrap.
Let's do it. It's a wrap.
See ya.
Bye. Oh, wait.
Bow. Bow. Bow.
All right, let's get something spinning and
Spin some vinyl.
Let's change it up. Shall we change it up for them?
What are we going to listen to now?
I love
that.
that. I think that it's great that you've got the electric fetus paper on there. I just love that.
Yeah, it's an institution.
move this around here.
It is an institution, indeed.
I'll have to see if I can bring back my dad's Tiak.
My dad's.
Madaga.
There you go.
Ooh, this sounds pretty chill. What are we listening to?
This is back. Morning phase.
Ralphie.com just released an event. Ralphie review 777. Glenn Morange, 10 year. I watch this guy's videos every now and again. He's been on for like 10 years now. And all he does is review scotches.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, actually.
He's got 777 reviews so far.
Wow.
That he's done.
That's amazing. How
I
many
know.
views does he get on every video?
I don't know. I'd have to look at it closer.
Because even if it's hundreds, he's probably making enough to cover the cost of his scotch.
Depends on the scotch.
Well, that's why I'm saying
But
in
yeah.
some cases, right?
So, he's kind of fun. If you don't mind the over-the-top type of picking up fig notes and
Fig notes
citrus
I
and
thought you said
caramel and definitely
Fig
toffee. There's day-old bread and
Pete.
you know,
Fig Newmans.
There's some toe jam in there.
Giant's toe.
It always has to be something slightly pretentious that you would never associate, like, with a smell,
See,
right?
my problem is my sense of smell is garbage, so I don't ever pick up anything.
Right, I'm noticing, hint of truffle, and memory foam or whatever.
I'm picking up new carpet.
Right? Ooh, this wine has a slight hint of new car smell.
Yeah, Armor All.
Of Armor All. Hang on, this is kind of. Hang on for a second, I know what it is. It's kiwi shoe polish. Parade gloss.
That's awesome.
Always awesome graphics.
Yeah.
If you go back to episode 1 when it was one image
Yeah.
and it was just audio, right before the web streaming, before any of that, it was just a graphic. What was it for 6 or 8 episodes? It was just a graphic.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I was saying to Joe on his new car, he's got a little tiny Toyota logo on the side. You probably saw it along with the little pinstripe. We need to either replace it with Yoda, a little graphical Yoda, or a Skyrim helmet.
That would be kind of fun.
Toyota.
Yoda.
I've seen enough vehicles that have that on the back.
Yeah. I like the old, the old compact Toyota pickups where they would just say "yo" on the back.
Yep,
Yo.
yep. I like that. Andy Schwartz's car he got from the Lakeville car dealership. He ended up peeling all the letters off except it said Kev. So that's the only way that I knew that it was him, because otherwise it was not a terribly easy to spot car. Oh, but there's Andy. How do you know it's me all the time? Because it says Ed Kev. Oh, it's upstairs doing laundry.
Dishes.
Taking shit.
That too.
Hello, flame cable.
this is getting sort of Pink Floydish here.
It does have a little bit of a hint to it, doesn't it?
Almost comfortably numb. This is the not comfortably numb. This is before lidocaine kicks in. Almost.
Although I think Metal is one of my favorite albums from him.
Yeah.
I do like their early stuff. I didn't at first, but I do now. You know, the little Piper at the Gates of Dawn, and so that really.
Yeah, that stuff is good.
Albums, Saucer Full of Seeds.